Hi everyone, welcome to the Global Exclusive Podcast. I'm Muspel, and this week I am unfortunately joined by only Barros.
Unfortunately, though,
It's unfortunate in that no one else is here. It's also unfortunate in that Barros is here.
wow, wow. I feel so loved when I come in to record this podcast. This is why I never actually join for the regular episodes nowadays. No, it actually isn't. It's because life. But yeah, it's nice to actually record an episode.
Yeah. So this week we have another premium unit, Auron.
This one actually good, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he's not bad, but I think he's a harder sell because
Yeah, he does have the drawbacks.
We know what's coming.
Yeah. True.
And then we also have NV Eject and Braska, who is barely worth mentioning.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something on Braska,
well,
but let's wait
Braska is like a one-sentence description.
Yeah, I guess, yes.
But yeah.
So who do you want to start with? Like, who's most interesting? Okay, let's start with Braska. Okay, so Braska, so he actually just has one ability, and that ability is to increase evoke LBs by 30x. I think he also increases evoke abilities by 15 on the same ability. No, it's just 30x LB. So that's good for like if you're bursting really hard with evokers, although we don't really have a good evoker.
He also has an 85% breaks, which could have some applications. Be warned if you're trying to use the attack and magic break, though, because it also affects your units.
Yeah.
And who knows why.
Yeah, who knows why. And I guess like he does have the increased lightning resistance field, which is weird because it's again applied to the entire board, so it's going to be applied to the enemy as well. Although technically, I guess when a boss is like when you want to protect yourself against lightning elemental, lightning is probably not the damage you're dealing to it. So
there's two main uses for this I can think of, and neither one is that good. The first one is obviously overwriting an enemy's field effect, but that's very
been relevant once.
I think wasn't it twice? Were there two bosses that did it?
I just remember doing it on a single boss ever. Although, yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Demon Chimera did it. Maybe there was another one. I don't remember. And then the other possible one is if there's an enemy where you need a lot of lightning resist, and the enemy dispels you frequently, like dispels and then imperils.
Right.
Because this gives you a buff that essentially cannot be dispelled.
Yeah. True.
But he is not a good unit.
But really, his only use right now is to kind of... So it's nice that he has breaks, because the thing about the breaks is that you can actually bring him for this ability that increases evoke damage. So if you're going to just burst with an evoker, you could actually bring Braska as your breaker. If you're going to finish the fight in 3 turns, because that's how long his attack and magic breaks last. Because like I was just doing some simple math, and if you bring Braska... If you bring Yuna's STMR on I guess Terra herself, right? Because that's a self buff. No, that's actually all allies. Oh, nice. So Braska can wear Yuna's STMR and use Yuna's STMR, use his own ability. Then you also bring Yuna to the same party, and Yuna uses her base form LB. That gives Terra 90x increase on her LB, which is more than double the damage. It's like slightly above double damage. So, I guess there's that.
Yeah, but
do you want to bring 2 more units just to make Terra do double damage?
No, I don't.
Like, I mean, because technically you could just bring 2 EX3 Terras as well. That's like
one less unit.
We're on
topic of bad ideas and doing way too much to get use out of terrible units. Do you want to talk about Braska's TM?
Oh! I want to hear about this. Okay. So let's talk about Braska's TM.
Is a materia that gives you an active ability that does water damage to one enemy, and it's split into 3 hits, each of which is 50x. So
no, but you're underselling it. I mean, it's a triple BS chain.
Yeah, but that's not the important part.
That's the important part to me. That's the only thing I'm caring about.
Relatively here.
Yeah.
So you remember how a while back like a few weeks ago, they accidentally released Popoy's 7-star and then unreleased it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so if you got 7-star Popoy during this time, you still have it. I think. I have not checked my box.
Yeah, I don't think they have reverted it yet, yeah.
So Popoy has a couple passives and an active buff on her LB that increase the modifiers on all magic attacks. And she gets a total of 160x mod boost.
Oh, and this counts as a magic ability, I guess?
Apparently, that's what Trag was saying.
Oh.
So in JP, apparently Popoi can actually deal okay damage with this.
Oh.
It's not clear to me if this ability is multicastable. I am not going to UOC Braska to find out. Maybe somebody else knows that.
But that's funny though. That's actually pretty funny. That's a funny use. I mean that's kind of as viable as bringing Terra and like 5 units to support her so she can do damage. But still, hey. But to like be on the serious side, I actually think that having one Braska is not bad because his TMR is a triple cast BS. So that's pretty nice for chaining. And if you can get 2 Braskas, you can always give these to 2 different units. You're always going to have good chains without having to do that bullshit bullshit coin thing. You can just get 2 of these.
Yeah, but these days we have like Ling and stuff, so.
No, sure. We do. We have Ling, we have Oliveira, we have units that do that, but still,
I'm not saying it's useless. I'm just saying it's not super useful.
Yeah.
And then Braska's STMR is you can use it on a summoner. It's a staff with Evo Mage, and it autofills the evoke gauge. I think a more realistic use for it is on a tank because it has some resists.
Yeah, it has actually really good resists and high spirit. Yeah. So
and the evoke fill could come in handy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's good. Like it's not terrible. It's just that
Yeah, it's not like one of those 16 staff STMRs that has no reason to exist. This has a role. It's not a must-have item, but if I had this, I could see myself using it once in a while.
Right.
But yeah, that's really all there's to say about Brass.
Yeah. So who do you want to do next?
Let's talk about let's save Auron for last.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jekt, he's like.
So he got such an OP upgrade on his STMR because
what did they change?
Yeah. No, so it actually fills 3 LB gauge per turn now.
What did it used to do? 1?
No,
2?
It didn't fill LB at all. That's all.
Wow. Oh right, I remember now.
Yeah. And it's a single-handed sword, which he doesn't use, and yeah. So I don't even
why do they do this? Like it's
exactly,
not even...
exactly my question. Why did they do this? I asked this on the news day as well. Like, what's the reason behind this change? Like, it's not even thematic for him. He's an SLB unit.
What are you talking about, Barrows? It's an iconic sword. It says it right there in the name.
Yeah, I guess it is iconic. Nah, this is so dumb. Like, I mean, I would have understood if they gave it like 200 attack or something, or turned it into a 2-handed sword. That would also make sense because even original fucking Jekt was a TDH unit.
It feels like they planned a Chronicle Battle upgrade and then scrapped it.
Could be, yeah. Could be that this was like supposed to be a flat stat stick for Auron, but never became it. I don't know.
Well, not for Auron because Auron uses katanas, right?
Sorry, not Auron. I meant Jekt. For Jekt, but yeah. So yeah, what should we like? Otherwise, what should we say about Jekt? I guess he's an SLP unit, as you said. He's like Titus. I saw on the WADA sheet they actually deals more damage than Titus. That's interesting.
A little bit, yeah. I think in practice they're pretty close. Which one is better probably depends on what kind of gear you have.
Yeah, and I guess like aren't they differently element locked? Right? What is Jekt locked to, or is he water too?
They're not element locked.
Oh, neither of them. Oh, that's actually pretty nice.
They'll need external support because they don't have amps for every element, obviously. But they're not locked.
Oh, okay.
I think he prefers water, though.
Yeah, he has a 230x modifier on his SLB. So, I mean, like, for an NVA, that's decent. He's a good NVA.
You can pretty much copy everything we said about Titus last week over here for Jekt, because I don't really see any meaningful differences here. Maybe I'm overlooking something, but Titus looks like he has more elemental flexibility maybe built into his kit just because he has more imperils or some shit. I don't know.
I guess like the thing for Titus is that Jekt can't use Titus's sword for that flat stat, right? Like Jekt would need to get because I'm guessing Wada's sheet has him like with 5 blowjobs and massage therapists and wristwatches and shit. So he's probably like wearing something like Auron STMR and Yuna STMR and so on. Which is like, obviously, if you have Auron, you're not putting his STMR on Jekt. Well, although I guess the same is to be said for Titus. So I'm guessing for most players,
Jekt is using on that sheet.
But I'm guessing that for most players, Titus is just going to be easier to gear due to him having access to his own weapon, right? But wait.
Assuming they were around for the event, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Jekt is using some weapon from Legends of Mana, I assume. It's a lot of Japanese letters and then the letters LOM. And
okay.
it's a two-handed weapon with 201 attack. It's a hammer.
Oh, okay. I don't know if we've seen that. Anyway, let's move on, right? Like,
yeah.
I guess like because his TMR didn't get any love, and it's like whatever. His sword got 3 more LB, so I guess like if you're really hurting for 3 LB, I have like 5 of his sword because I have so many Jekt you would not believe. So I guess like I can gear people with a lot of LB fill easily, by dual wielding his swords. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Auron.
So the
Auron
actual unit.
It's a premium unit, so he costs 60,000 lapis to guarantee a copy of, and you don't get as many fragments. Unlike his original version, he does not have good breaks. He technically has breaks, but they suck. They're only 70%, and only attack and magic, so who cares? I guess he has an 80% defense break on his LB, but still, we're in an era now where 85 is like normal and 90 is good. So
yeah, and he has really this slim SLB kit that we've seen from Alim units for a while now, where he has like almost no abilities. Although I'm gonna say he has a bit more than, like, he's more like a Cyan and less than a Kurosame, but still, it's like you're not gonna use his abilities. He has a Grandis, you might be using that.
Yeah. So his LB has a Katana Imperil, and then it does a bunch of wind damage.
Yeah.
And damage-wise, he's in the same neighborhood as Sephiroth. I think he's a little higher on current calcs. That might just be because, at least on the wiki sheet, that might just be because he has newer gear than Sephiroth.
No, I think that's true in general. Like that he's theoretically slightly stronger, if I'm not wrong. But like that's I guess if you ignore all the drawbacks of being an SLB unit.
That also ignores the fact that like on the wiki sheet, Sephiroth is not using his event weapon.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Among other things.
That's a pretty big one.
So it could be that in practice they're very similar.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but anyway, like they are very close. Like I think wailed out, super wailed out, he does like a tiny bit more. So I'm looking at a sheet where Sephiroth does 16 trillion and legendary Guardian Auron does 16.6. So very close.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, he's of course wind locked. So if you need wind, obviously this is going to be the best unit for the job, hands down, right? But Sinzar, yeah, and of course Sinzar is biased. We all know he's a huge Sephiroth fanboy, but he did have some very good points. Like, of course, this is an SLB unit. He doesn't have a shift form, so you can't, gear him for resistances or whatever. That is sometimes useful. He doesn't have an AoE LB, and he's also, I guess, harder to gear properly compared to Sephiroth. I don't know, maybe not. But I think it's kind of waiting for that SLB turn is just, I don't know, it just bothers me because Sephiroth can at least burst back to back. Give him sufficient support and he's going to burst twice.
One other thing I want to point out, though, is that wind is a better supported element than dark.
Yes, very so.
Because of Bulwark.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and not just Bulwark. I mean, we have actually a lot of units that support wind really well. We have Faris, we have Bart.
Nobody's using Faris.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to build a wind team, there is a lot of good support for wind. Yes. Like, there's some fantastic wind support.
Dark might be preferable because of Reese, though, because she actually does decent damage and has that dark field.
Yeah, I guess.
Who knows? Anyways, the point is, Auron is probably about on par with Sephiroth, which is, it's harder to get excited now. First off, because Sephiroth has been out for a long time.
Yeah.
At least, I don't know, a few months, I think. I lost track of time. But also because you look at the future units in JP, and there's some that are just going to be way ahead of this. And we know that they're probably not that far off. So investing 3 months worth of lapis on a unit that will probably be powercraft before 3 months are gone.
Yeah, exactly. No, I fully agree.
Boring. Why do they do this?
Yeah, I don't know. I just fully agree. Besides, if you're a gambling man, right, you'd probably just, or like if you really want to get most bang for your buck, what you should be doing is you should be pulling on GLEX units, because right now They are morale units almost always, meaning that they are needed for cow, because if you don't have morale units, you can go fuck yourself. And they actually always do very good damage in non-cow content. Like, they
Well,
don't do top
not
damage.
not always. The damage dealers do, but like Ling and Bulwark don't.
No, no, of course, but they are a special case. I am talking about
Yeah.
damage dealers. Like sure, someone like Olivera won't compare, obviously, and I guess maybe Lara is the freak that stands out.
Who's the biggest whiff of the recent GLX units? I guess like Noppy or let's say we ignore Noppy because Noppy was pre.
Noppy is unfair because she is old and she just got an update which doesn't really like do her justice.
But Gumi's biggest whiff with the more recent ones was, I guess, Olivera.
Yeah, and Olivera is not really a whiff, to be honest.
Yeah, and Olivera still has, I think, like the second or third highest magic burst in the game outside of Clash, and in Clash is probably close to the highest. Maybe
still like looking at whale calcs, the only unit that out damages Olivera is Lara, and Olivera they are on par with Carton. So like. This is the second strongest unit.
Has tag chains, so that's
helpful. So it's like the second strongest unit in the game. So it's really like, and that's the whiff, right? So yeah, it's pretty safe to invest. Like everyone remembers, like everyone was crying about not having Kresnik in the last battle, right? Like so we all know that it's smart to save your money. And besides, they are also more fun units because look at
they have actual utility.
Yeah,
like even Carton is probably like the closest to being a boring damage dealer, and he has an AoE Dark Absorb for the team that he can potentially spam in the right situations, and that was used on a recent Clash.
Yeah. So, and here's my point. All right, here's my point. So, a large part of FFB, because there is no content, I've been griefing about this for a long while. I'm actually going to do a special episode where we're just going to talk about how would this be able to be fixed. But FFB doesn't have the content to make you use your favorite units in any way. So, the only way you're going to be using your unit ever in this game is on the monthly events that exist, which is Cow and DV, right? And for Auron, like if you're a huge Final Fantasy X fan, you get Auron, you remember all the abilities and all the things he could do in Final Fantasy X and the type of unit he was, and now all of a sudden he's relegated to being a SLB burster on your DV, where you're just like, if you have the X3, you're just bursting on your turn 3 or whatever. Actually, you're bursting probably later. But this is not a good representation of this unit for this game, which is almost only about unit collection and nostalgia as is right now. So they need to make units more fun.
Yeah, if you want to look at a sprite, there's better ways to do it. If you want to actually play with the unit, then they need to focus on that.
Yes, exactly. And I don't get, like, yeah, I mean, I get it's easy to make units like this. I guess that's why they're doing it. Or I'm also thinking they're betting on, like, maybe it's more approachable, easier to understand the unit, whatever. But
to be fair, I do think that there's a lot of older units where they went way overboard on the complexity of the rotation.
Oh, of course. Like look at someone like I don't know. I'm immediately thinking about Xenogears units. Yeah, Godria too. But I'm also thinking about the Xenogears units. All of them had like 500 abilities, and you used like one if you're lucky.
Yeah. Even Warrior Light Bartz was like conceptually simple, but I think a lot of people just didn't like him because of the excessive setup.
Yeah.
You'll probably have the same issue where, I mean, people talked about Edel and Bartz a lot before they came out in GL, and then they came out and like basically nobody used them.
Yeah, no, it's like units. Here's the thing: units need to be fun. That's like the main part of this game. Like they need to just be fun and usable. And again, also it'd be really nice if there was also content to use units on that isn't solely focused on a single thing, which is highest burst in a single turn. That would be really nice. But hey, we're actually going to do an episode on that as a separate thing. I just don't know when yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we should mention his TMR and STMR though, right? Because like his TMR is actually pretty decent.
One sec, let me pull it up because I forget exactly.
Okay, it's 80% attack and 50% Esper bonus stats. So it's actually like, it's kind of when you're capping your attack already, you can get some extra bonus stats. It's a nice EP item.
Yeah, I do think I find myself using attack materia less and less these days. Just because
absolutely. Already. Many units just start out capping with their STMR or TMR, and you're done.
But sure, yeah, this is for a TMR. This is better than most, or at least better than some.
And then his STMR obviously is a must-have for him. It doesn't stack as Tifa's did, but it has the 500 flat attack. It also has a very high base attack. It has 80 base attack. So it's just an overall also very strong item to have. So, and you're gonna have it. Like if you got him, you need to either Moogle or get him to EX2.
And to be clear, the thing that doesn't stack is a passive for all FFX units that increases static attack by 500 and gets 50% LB damage.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's...
Yeah, you can obviously wear it too for just the stats.
For him, Titus, or Jekt, they would want a copy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then one copy of Unisys.
So people were joking around because he's a bit underwhelming, and there are a lot of Sephiroth fanboys. People were joking around that, like, the only reason Auron exists is to beef up your Titus, which is funny because Titus is actually not that strong. So yeah.
But yeah, it's this banner is disappointing. I mean,
yeah, it is. It is. I mean, again, like, it's funny. It's funny we're saying
are terrible, but Auron doesn't feel like premium quality, especially not in GL where we have like class units that are just
absolutely
that are just the total package.
And I mean, and it's funny we're saying this is a disappointing banner when, you know, technically on paper we are getting the strongest damage dealer, right? But again,
Angela works harder.
Oh, that's actually true. Angela is kind of a freak. That's true.
But to be fair, Angela is harder to get to that point because you have to stack up her LB.
Yeah, for like five or 6 times or whatever.
Yeah, and also you need magic killers, which can be harder to gear for, and so on and so on. So Auron is probably about comparable in practice, but he's also a premium unit.
Yeah. And again, he does, like, again, for the tiny bit more damage that he does compared to Sephiroth, for all the huge drawbacks of not having a base form, not being able to burst back to back, which is important for trials with HP locks and shit, like, I just don't see, like, hey, okay, I just want one thing to be known. I'm a big Final Fantasy X fan, all right? I enjoyed the shit out of Final Fantasy X when it came out, and that's still one of my favorite Final Fantasy X games. I love Auron as a unit. I would love to have him, but they're just not selling him. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not, like, I pulled on Yuna's banner instead because I wanted to do Terra memes. So
why would you pull for Yuna?
I just said why. For Terra memes. And I got a Yuna, so I'm happy.
Why didn't you do what I did?
Oh, you just shittered her? Yeah, fuck you, asshole.
Barros, I'm offended. I did not shitter Yuna. No? I shittered 2 Yunas.
Oh my god.
I pulled a second off banner one this morning.
Okay, listen, so I wanna tell a funny story. First of all, I've been haunted by the Final Fantasy X banners in this game. Like, there is, like, because it's interesting because Final Fantasy X banners have usually been very strong in this game. Like, remember Riku, right? Twice she has broken the game by being really strong, right?
And original Titus was great too.
Original Titus was great.
Riku was great. FFX2 Riku was great.
Auron was fucking amazing when he came out.
Jekt was good for like a week.
Yeah, okay. So here's the funny story.
X2 Yuna and Pain were dog shit.
Yeah, but okay, I don't count X2 as X because I hated X2, okay? I loved X, and I'm probably offending people, but I hated fucking...
Then are you counting 5-star base Riku? Because she's X2.
Yes, I am, because she was actually really good. Okay, but okay, this was it. So I've never been able to pull on any of the Final Fantasy X banners. Ever. The only unit, like, and I've put so much lapis into each one of them. I wanted Auron. I wanted both Rikus. In fact, I even wanted the original Yuna, and never, like, had no ability to pull them. You know who I fucking pulled 3 copies of on the first week of his banner? Fucking Jekt, and he was good for a week. and you know, my curse continued. So I was like, I need Yuna. I need to get my, like, I want to do Terra memes. I want my Terra to be high. So I'm pulling for Yuna banner, and I'm pulling, and so I am on the final lap of the guarantee. So I'm going to get the guarantee. And I decided, okay, you know what? We got some extra lapis from the new Chronicle battles. Not the Chronicle battles, the EX battles. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to...
like where this is going.
Listen, so I said, like, I'm going to buy a couple more... I just need a bit more lapis to actually do the final laps. I just did it. And I'm going through the lap, and I'm getting NVs. They're all off banner, as the entire lap has been. And then, you know what actually happens, which is like a big fuck you to me. So, you know, on the last lap, there's a guaranteed NV, right? Do you know what the guaranteed NV was?
Riku?
No, that was actually a Yuna. So it was good. Like, I get 2 Yunas, right? But it's also fucking hilarious that on the random NV, the last random NV pull, I get a Yuna. Okay, so it was good. It was that was horrible. Actually, it was horrible. I spent way too much lapis for Terra memes. I spent way too much lapis for Terra memes. But I can do Terra memes now. Like I can do Terra does damage memes now. So
is there anything to talk about with the events?
Well, I guess like there's a one disappointing thing to talk about the events, or I guess like we were guessing before DV came out that this was going to be an ice DV, Phoenix. And that was having people excited for the same reason I was talking about before, because you will actually get to use some of your units that you pulled and you never got to use, like Kurasame. But that didn't turn out to be true. We're just getting a standard run-of-the-mill DV boss, so obviously everyone is going to just be running fucking Sephiroths and Cartons and Laras and shit.
I think Alama and Gumi know that people who like Type 0 are stupid, and it's easy to get their money without, and you don't have to do anything to earn it.
Yeah, like they don't even play the game. They still pull for the units like a certain podcast host. So yeah.
And to any FF Type 0 fans that may be listening, fuck you.
Dude, listen. We are like fucking 40 minutes. No, okay, we're 30 minutes into an episode that nobody cares about. So like there are no Final Fantasy Type 0 fans listening. Also, I want to say like there's probably just no Final Fantasy Type 0 fans, period.
They apparently exist. The game has some positive reviews on Steam.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I want to say like this.
Okay, let's fill time. I'm going to look up and see what these positive reviews are saying.
Do that. While you're doing that, I'm going to say I was a late player of Type 0. So I discovered Type 0 when it came out on this remastered edition for like the Vita, right? Whatever. It was a new version. Could have been for PC. And I heard this very thing that you're saying, that this game had actually good reviews and people were actually liking it. This is not a good game, okay? For anyone that wants to actually do the same thing that I did and play the game again, just don't. It's actually not a good game. People that are telling you this are lying. All right, let's hear what people are lying about.
Let's see. It's alright, it's one of the weaker titles, but it's quite a bit of fun for the experienced player. It has an odd combat system that takes a bit of time to get used to. This is a recommended play.
Wait, what?
From somebody that played it for 4.7 hours.
The fuck? That's the best they can get? Yeah,
okay, here's somebody that played for 120 hours.
Okay.
I thank you for your sacrifice, sir. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to look at this dude's profile, actually. Okay, now we're shaming a dude on Steam. That's bad, but I'm going to look at his profile anyway. Oh, no, it's kind of secret.
He doesn't talk about the game at all. Everything is about, like, the camera angles and the Japanese audio and the anti-aliasing options.
Ah, this is one of those, what do you call them?
I hate these
weebs. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's kind of, I can really see this game having been actually good when it first came out.
One person is giving it a positive review because it is the only M-rated game in the franchise.
Oh, wow.
What is wrong with these people?
No, but I'm going to be honest. Like, you're going to get my completely biased review, but I tried. I played the game. There were some there was some interesting lore going on. Like, I was intrigued to begin with, but the game mechanics were just garbage. I'm sorry. Like, there were these weird, weird army battles as well, and then the levels were actually just bad, and the dialogue was trash. So I'm sorry. I'm being too harsh. It's not trash, but like, it's not a great game. I'm sorry. Just don't play it.
You know what other Final Fantasy game sucks?
Final Fantasy 12?
8. And that's all for this week. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye, Barrows.
Okay, bye.